Hello, class. This is Mr. DeVoe-Peterson. Let's take a look at your week 4 assignments. Let's start by looking at Canvas. I'll share my screen and you'll see only 2 chapters in Microsoft Access versus last 2 weeks you've had 4 chapters in Word and 4 in Excel. So just 2 chapters, a little easier, like I said, and just 2 chapters to read and take quizzes on in your Tech in Action ebook. So let's take a look and see what's included in those 2 chapters in Microsoft Access, the database program. Opening, saving, looking at a database, modifying records, adding records, deleting, things like that. Simple, kind of easy steps. Creating a table, working with field properties. Field property might be if it's a text field, and maybe it's for the state. You only want 2 characters versus 255, to optimize it. That's an example of something you might do. Exporting information, importing information from an Excel data or an Access database. That's it. Um, Next week, week 5, we'll finish up on Access, but that's all we got. So looking at Access, I'm going to open up a window, and it's a pop-up window, and you won't be able to see it right away, but let me launch it. I'm going to copy the contents of the address bar into a new tab so you can see it with zoom. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to paste it in here. And if I did it right, you should see the chapter 1 training before your eyes. And there it is. Yay. Okay, so this is it looks like you're in what? It looks like you're in Windows 10, doesn't it? So I'm going to open up Access. And of course, this is a simulation. It's all in the cloud. You may or may not have Access or Windows 10 on your computer. So I'm going to go to the launch here. I'm going to go to Access and start her up. And boom, here it is. All right. So what else? Open the file A01HI. Okay, so I'll open other files and I don't see it here. Uh, Browse. There it is. Open. Now, if I didn't, and I'm going to enable content, right? So wait. Oh, save a copy. Let me get rid of this. Uh, Disable click more details. Security warning. Now, let me look at the instructions. Save a copy of the database file, name it. All right, file, save as. Maybe it wants me to do this first. Uh, Database as. I want a database. I want to call it. Okay. A01H1 traders underscore student name. Save as. Okay. Now it lets me enable content. Technically, it would have let me do it right away, but this is the simulation. Okay, now I'm on question, what, 1.1.2. So I'm 2 of 13. Now, if I didn't know how to do any of that, bang, there's the learning aids. That's how you do it. So complete all the tasks, use the learning aids as you need them, save when you're done, submit for grading, and you are done. So I'm back at the my T-Lab. I would have done and finished the training and those 13 steps. Then I would do the assessment. And then I'm going to move on to chapter 2, training and assessment. There is no hands-on test this week. There will be one next week in Microsoft Access. You need to download it. If you only have the cloud version of Office, you won't have access. You need to get to a computer, a Windows computer with Microsoft Access installed. So I'm telling you, a week in advance, identify one, come to the college or use a library that has that one to use Microsoft Access. And then we have some quizzes to take. So going back to Canvas, I finished the chapters 1 and 2. I have not read the chapters 10 and 11 in Tech in Action yet. So what link did I put that? Here it is. Okay, so now I'm in Pearson Plus. I would have clicked on the link to start this. I'm going to go to chapter 10. I'm going to, the life cycle of a program. All right, so talks about programming, program development life cycle. That is a quiz question, right? Yeah, it's a process of performing the programming and project, and there's steps here, right? And I think there's a picture. Here it is. describe the problem, make a plan, coding, actually do the coding, and you always have to test it. It's usually never right the first time. And then after debugging the problems, then you run some sample data through it and test it to make sure it's working properly and document how to use it. So statement of problem. So more of an explanation of the individual steps you're going to do. And this looks like you're looking at a pay analysis for regular pay and overtime is what's going on here. And I think there'll be a flow chart coming up here somewhere to walk you through. Oh, here it is. Here's a flow chart. All right, so sometimes we use this as a diagram to kind of mentally walk through the program, what it wants you to do. And this is a decision point. Usually we use a kind of a diamond for that. You know, if the answer is yes, you do these steps. If it's no, you use these steps. I know programmers that use this. I tended not to do it when I programmed. I use pseudocode instead, where I'd write out in a language what that is. Here it is, pseudocode. So that was my technique, text-based approach to documenting an algorithm. I would write what it was supposed to do. That was my technique. But if you do a, diagram, these are there's that diamond for the decision point and a process and things like that. I never enjoyed doing that, but some people like it. So that's chapter 10. Then I think we said chapter 11, didn't we? And and then we get into databases, which is really handy because this week and next week we're doing Microsoft Access, which is a database. So it talks about what a database is, a collection of related information, right? And what are some highlighted links here? Uh, Data centralization. It's all maintained in one place, not on different servers. And data integrity. So I'll let you go through this. It's very good. And if I go to the very end, make sure you understand all the uh, chapter review. You get all these key points. Sometimes students start here. They like to look at the summary, kind of like looking at a PowerPoint and outline of things that you should have gotten from this chapter. But that is your ebook. So after you read your ebook, all right, this link goes to Pearson Plus, and I was just in it. You can look at the narrated PowerPoints, you can look at the study guide questions, then take chapters 10 and 11 quizzes. Nice, easy week, but again, don't wait till Saturday to start, right? Okay, I'll stop sharing my screen. Let me hear from any questions for now.